Leaks should be stopped as soon as possible. All sources of ignition must be eliminated. All sources of ignition must be eliminated. Again, why did we choose to light this shit on fire? Vinyl chloride vapor can travel to an ignition source and flash back, causing a flash fire. Because of the explosive hazard, fire at a leak must not be extinguished unless the leak is simultaneously closed. In the event of a spillage, liquid should be contained and discharges to streams or sewer system prevented. Liquid should be contained and discharges to streams or sewer system prevented. And I'll go back to the top again. All sources of ignition must be eliminated. Now to continue. People performing the cleanup should have full protective equipment and positive pressure breathing apparatus. Evacuate and restrict persons not wearing protective equipment from area of spill or leak until cleanup is complete. Remove all ignition sources. Establish forced ventilation to keep levels below explosive limit. Again, remove all ignition sources. Establish forced ventilation to keep levels below explosive limit. Ventilate area of leak to disperse the gas. Stop the flow of gas if it can be done safely. If source of leak is a cylinder and the leak cannot be stopped in place, remove leaking cylinder to a safe place in the open air and repair leak or allow cylinder to empty. Keep this chemical out of confined space such as a sewer because of the possibility of explosion. Unless the sewer is designed to prevent the buildup of explosive concentrations, it may be necessary to contain and dispose of this chemical as a hazardous waste. It continues. Land spill. Construction barriers to contain spill absorb small amounts of spill with natural or synthetic absorbents. Shovel into containers with covers. Water spill, contain contaminated water with dams or natural barriers. And then again at the bottom, eliminate all ignition sources. Stop or control the leak. If this can be done without undue risk, use water spray to disperse vapors and protect personnel. Control runoff and isolate discharged material for proper disposal. I don't know how much more. What more can you say? I mean, fuck. We don't even work for the frickin' department, and we looked it up on Google, and it's telling us don't have anything to do with ignition, period. So why did they come to this decision to light this shit on fire?
Derailment 1 week ago in East
It's
Palestine,
safe.
Ohio. Now, residents are
My
alarmed.
ass.
Dozens of fish are turning up dead in nearby
Right,
water.
Ava?
The community was forced to evacuate on Monday as crews.
Whether it's through flame or heat, there's a, whether it's the actual flame itself or the heat, there's something changing them fucking chemicals. Then what does it become, right? Then what do these chemicals create when the compounds and the structure is altered? And they tell you no ignition sources. Maybe there's a reason for that because of what can take place with the compound and the
burned 5 tankers filled with toxic chemicals to prevent another explosion. Well, the EPA saying the toxic levels have since returned to normal and residents are allowed to return home. But in a News Nation exclusive, I spoke with environmental advocate Erin Brockovich
Crazy.
about these events unfolding in Ohio, and
All
she
right,
has
let me
a
look through this
strong
video while
warning
this
for
plays here.
residents.
After 30 years of what I've been through and what this community is going through, they know.
I can't
Come
believe
on,
it.
it's vinyl chloride. It's in the air. The fish are dying. Really? Does that give you comfort that maybe I should be in this area? Probably not.
Renowned consumer advocate Erin Brockovich weighing in on the East Palestine train derailment, chemical burn, and the all clear given to the community. Not mincing words when I asked if she trusts the EPA and the green light given for residents to return home. Brockovich encouraging residents to document everything they're seeing and trust their own gut.
If you feel unsafe, then please get out of harm's way. If you feel unsafe, stay sheltered in place. If you're questioning that it's all clear and you think it isn't, listen to that voice. Document what's happening to your own health. Document or videotape the fish that are dying, or as you move about in your community.
News Nation obtained video of dead fish in the Ohio River near East Palestine, and questions still remain about the toxic chemical transported in those train cars, vinyl chloride, and its impact on the environment and people. According to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, exposure to vinyl chloride, a colorless gas, can have a direct impact on your heart and blood vessels, liver, immune system, and development overall. Christopher Reddy studies chemical spills in the environment.
A vinyl chloride spill is challenging.
Crap, did I get rid of it?
Vinyl chloride on fire adds a completely different level of complexity.
The EPA cited, quote, hundreds and
Completely different
hundreds
level.
of data points showing that the air quality in East Palestine is safe, a message echoed by Dr. Reddy.
Vinyl chloride, once into the atmosphere, is quickly diluted and it breaks down relatively quickly.
As cleanup and recovery continues in East Palestine, Erin Brockovich urges residents and the community to protect and defend themselves in this.
Well, I'm pleased to be here. I just want to say that the toxic material that was of most concern in the tank cars was vinyl chloride. And vinyl chloride is a carcinogen, a well-known carcinogen. I actually did part of my training at Mount Sinai Medical Center, where a team of occupational medicine physicians were the first ones to document that vinyl chloride can cause liver cancer. Now, that exposure is occupational. There are OSHA regulations about occupational exposure, but we don't have any regulations about air quality in the environment.
Wow.
In part because it shouldn't be out there. And right off, there was a fire after the train derailment. And so the fire itself produced smoke, as you showed, that is toxic to people's health. Any kind of smoke breathed in, especially by people who might have pre-existing lung disease like asthma or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, can cause exacerbations of their disease. Now, because there was a fear of explosion of those vinyl chloride tank cars because of the train fire, they released the vinyl chloride from the tank cars into trenches and did a controlled burn to burn up the vinyl chloride. Now, when you do that, you can create highly toxic materials such as phosgene and hydrochloric acid. Go ahead.
So, Dr. Bones, it sounds when you're telling us all these things, if I was coming to you and said, should I move my family with 3 young kids back into this area? Authorities say it's okay. What do you say?
Wow.
Well, the authorities did the right thing to evacuate people while there was the controlled burn and fire going on. Fortunately, the plume went straight up because of the weather conditions, which was good. So I don't think the controlled burn of the vinyl chloride
it's going like this
exposed people very much. The folks that I'd be most worried about were the first responders before I think anyone really knew that there was vinyl chloride being emitted.
Man.
In terms of the return
gosh.
to
that has to be so scary.
residences, in terms of families, I think that it all depends on what residues might be found in the water and soil. I think that they won't find anything in the air if the fire is
The
completely
water
out
and
now.
soil.
All right.
And I think that the long-term effects are mostly for people who had big exposure, high exposures early on, such as the first responders.
Oh my god.
It sounds like those folks definitely need to make sure that they are watching.
That's so scary. What's up, Punksy? Man. We just read about the cleanup when it comes to vinyl chloride. We read the cleanup. Then, which it says, keep away from all ignition sources. Then you hear what this guy says. They were notified to leave immediately, right? So they pretty much packed up whatever they could, wrote like literally minutes, and took off. And you're going to expect they basically, all of these people have to be homeless now, because would you even feel comfortable going back home to collect any of your personal belongings? I couldn't even collect nothing. No way. Get your stuff inside. I don't know. Seriously, if it could, just imagine the fine dust that your furnace is still going, so it's sucking the air from outside, bringing it in. So it's the little fine particles would be like, basically it would be a light dusting all over everything. Everything. As soon as you're walking on the damn sidewalk and you're picking it up on your shoe, you're touching your doorknob, you got it on your hand from the doorknob. Oh, I missed this picture. You pick it up. It's on it. Just walking through the air, I can imagine, inside of a home, because it would circulate somewhat all over everything. Yeah, Ava, what do you think? Hell yeah. They better not say that shit's not covered because of a natural disaster or something. I feel bad for the people that are on hard times, because I didn't know this. I was talking to somebody at my work today, and we were discussing all of the people that own homes that don't have insurance, and how a lot of people have lost their homes just due to fires or whatever kind of natural events that take place, and they're basically out of luck because they just couldn't afford the homeowners insurance. And what about those people that it's having a hard time? The economy shit, having a hard time. They had to cut back on some things, and maybe that was one of them, because you never think something's going to happen to you until it happens to you. It's right on the Ohio-Pennsylvania border. Where's the river? Oh, it's right there. The Ohio River right there. And that's where the fish were dying. Oh my gosh. Wow. Again, why did we light this on fire? Why did we do a controlled burn?
Now, meanwhile, folks living along the Ohio-Pennsylvania border have been told they can return home. The train derailment, of course, forced thousands
Look at that.
out. Several of those freight cars were carrying hazardous chemicals. Now, officials were forced to release toxins into the air to avoid a potential explosion.
But I don't understand why you're allowing it to to go into a trench and then you're lighting it on fire to do a controlled burn when we looked up cleanup and this is all over the article. All sources of ignition must be eliminated. And he says it right there in this video. Right here in the fucking video. It creates what chemicals again?
They released the vinyl chloride from the tank cars into trenches and did a controlled burn to burn up the vinyl chloride. Now, when you do that, you can create highly toxic materials such as phosgene and hydrochloric acid.
Phosgene and hydrochloric acid. But all over this, eliminate all ignition sources. Keep away from water, sewer systems. Right here, in the event of a spillage, liquid should be contained and discharges to streams or sewer system prevented. And we just saw all them dead ass fish popping up now. Thank you so much, Bruin, for having me look up that spillage, man. What the fuck was an old chemical weapon? And we did a control burn? Again, I want to go back to my original question. What were the frickin' options and what made you circle that fucking option?